Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Terry with Sunrise Sports. So the reason I created this channel was my goal is to talk about things that outside of the normal day to day. Obviously, there's always going to be breaking news. There's always going to be things that happen in the sport, but my main focus is trying to look at things from a different angle, right? The history of the sport, history of the fighters, the deals that are happening, business decisions, rules, things that are not part of the day-to-day that we see um, in the mainstream media. There's plenty of channels that cover the sport from a great angle. My focus is going to be more so, hopefully, on other things outside of the norm. And one of the videos, or the reason for this video today, is to talk about something that happened to me last night. So I'm watching the Gilbert Burns fight, and I'm thinking to myself, man, this guy, obviously he's done. I mean, I'm a big fan of Gilbert, especially he's a presence down here at Killcliff FC in South Florida, and seeing the way he lost and just seeing that he just wasn't competitive in that fight last night against Mike Malott. Obviously Malott looked a lot bigger, and I know Gilbert has been the type of fighter that has cycled between different weight classes. Obviously, he went on his run during COVID and pre-COVID, where he was able to fight for the belt against Kamaru Usman, who both were former training buddies or training partners, and from what I hear, good friends at the time. But the phenomenon that came to me, and I know maybe this is something that happens to everybody. Maybe this is common, but for me, it was thinking that, wow, when was the last time that he fought? Um, and then when was it that he fought Chimaev? Because in my mind, it felt like it was, 2 years ago for some reason. So I did a Google search, and I'm like, wow, he fought Chimaev back in 2022. And so that was insane to me because obviously his fight was very competitive. We know probably fight of the year, if I'm not mistaken, for 2022. So it's something that I've noticed happens to me a lot is the association and disassociation of fights and when they happened. The Kamaru Usman fight, right, with Gilbert, we know happened during COVID. It was at the Apex, and it's something that's interesting, right? Is that we are associating fights, specific fights, right? Bangers, right? That we like to see with different timelines in our life. And sometimes we associate to that timeline when the fight happened, and sometimes we don't. And so I asked ChatGPT, what's examples of this and why is this happening? One of the main reasons is also age, right? I'm in my mid 30s now, and for me, associating things with the past seems short in terms of when it happened, when in reality it was a while back. So we tend to, as we get older, time passes faster, monotony, stress, life, especially those of us that have families, kids, and have um, to do things of that nature. So the other reasoning that ChatGPT said was the pandemic era time distortion. Now, this fight happened, the Durinho Khamzat fight happened in 22. I think by then we were out of the, masks and mandates and all that crap that we had to endure. But nonetheless, the other thing that I take away from that thought is that we pretty much had, you know, looking at the last 10, 12 years, we had the Fox era, right, of the UFC. We then moved into the ESPN era. During the ESPN era, we had to deal with the COVID era. And then obviously now we are in the Paramount era. So, um, very interesting stuff when it comes to history and how we associate things. And so I'm curious if you guys have gone through that as well. Are you disassociating or associating fights as easy, especially those of us that are in our 30s, 40s, or folks that have been fans of the sport for 10 plus years, right? I think we start to disassociate when it comes to what we see, and I just wanted to bring that out there. Another fighter that this happens to me with is Max. I was actually looking before I started recording, when was it that he was champion at the featherweight division? And believe, yeah, he lost obviously to Volk. It was back in 2019, and that does feel about right, right? It does seem right in terms of the timeline in my head, but and just being a fan of his, I thought that he would have a chance to obviously become a champion again. So yeah, I'm curious, does this happen to you guys? You associate moments, milestones of your life with fights that are happening around that time? And does that feel accurate? It's something that has happened to me since I was young. I mean, it happened to me when I was more into boxing as well. Not as much with any of the mainstream sports like an NBA or NFL, but yeah, curious your guys' take. Drop a comment, like, subscribe, and again, I'm hoping to put out a lot more content around this, and I appreciate anyone that chimes in and views the channel. Thanks again. Take care. This is T with Sunrise Sports out.